Alrighty. Deal number three, last but not least, is Luis Barbosa. Luis, you ready? The floor is yours.
So we're in the process. We already got this deal under an LOI. It is a commercial refrigeration manufacturing. A little bit about the company. They were founded in 2003. They're based out of San Francisco and they serve all 50 states with custom-built refrigeration units. The way it started was a general contractor that was not happy with what was currently in the market. So he started building his own units for his own general contracting work. The demand for the units increased, which made him open up a manufacturing company. And he's been able to grow that up to 6.9 million off of based on 2023. And they're obviously doing something right. The average tenure for the full-time employee is on average 20 years. They've also partnered with a local agency that's offering second chance employment initiatives for recovering drug addicts and substance abuse. So, and the average tenure for those guys are on average about 2 years. And they've been able to tap into multiple markets, including florists and morgues. There's a huge opportunity, especially with this potential deal. They currently have no sales or marketing whatsoever. They could expand into sales on offering replacement doors for these large refrigeration units. And then you could also introduce a robust servicing model based on the servicing of these companies. All right. There are multiple revenue streams, and it's really owners that have just taken their foot off the gas and they have multiple revenue streams. So this is an amazing platform acquisition. The first revenue stream is manufacturing. They do custom built units ranging from single display to large warehouse facilities over 20,000 square feet. They offer design and CAD drawings to meet specifications, and they have the ability to meet a variety of requirements, including extreme temperatures like cryotherapy chambers and even extreme heat. They also have a general contractor's license in the state of California where they provide services of installation services, and they're currently receiving between 3 to 4 requests for bids on a daily basis. And they could even take on some large projects. For example, on July 1st, they have a project starting on July 1st that's worth 1.8 million for a large warehouse that requires cooling systems. A good opportunity also is the servicing and the replacements. They have a service vehicle with all the required tools needed to service refrigeration, to offer the refrigeration maintenance. Owner's burnt out. He doesn't want to initiate that process, but they have everything in place to get started. There's currently a 6-month backlog for replacement doors. And at the moment, they're turning business away for servicing and the replacement side. So what's their pricing model? The average cost for each refrigeration unit, it's $50,000 per unit. They offer energy efficient design, customized configurations. They get the specs, they get the drawing, and they'll customize in the manufacturing facility based on what the customer requires. The secondary market, which is at the moment dormant, they're not even tapping into this option. They're charging $5,000 per replacement. They're getting calls every day, and they're backlogged 6 months on those replacement doors. And this is a review that one of the customers recently left in their Google reviews. This company has the keen ability to perform and achieve any refrigeration dream. So in my opinion, I think one of the biggest opportunities is the replacement door requests because they have increased. So you have new refrigeration units and then you have the used refrigeration market. By tapping into the replacement doors, it allows us to tap into that used refrigeration market. Custom size configuration, smart defrost technology, energy consumption analytics, all that is built in with the replacement door. So who's the team that's leading this charge? It's going to be me. I've been in sales for over 8 years, selling directly to large enterprise customers. Main channels of sales is going to be sales and trade shows, and I'll touch on that in just a little bit. And on my recent job selling directly into the food and beverage vertical, I was able to increase revenue 180% in that vector. We have Oscar with over 20 years of manufacturing abilities. And Oscar, if you're on the call, go ahead and hop off and just give you a little background as to what your experience is in the manufacturing field.
Sure. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, I've have 20 plus years of experience in manufacturing, different roles and responsibilities from engineering all the way to plant management. I also have experience leading greenfield projects and quote unquote, unfortunately, shut down operations. And I also am a certified Lean Six Sigma black belt, which I think is going to be key for this acquisition. Um, thank you, Luis.
Perfect. And then we also got Nele Patel. Nele, if you want to hop off and just make a quick introduction.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Neelay. I currently work as a financial analyst at Whitecap. So I'll be helping with making sure that we have our proper cash flow channels in place, helping with analysis and any other type of financial advice that we'll be needing for this acquisition.
And we also have the seller. Interestingly enough, we were able to offer him equity stake on their Topco, especially specifically because of the general contractor's license that he maintains. So he's accepted an advisory position on the Topco to continue the GC work that we have in place. So what does this commercial refrigeration market look like? Worldwide, it's 52.8 billion worldwide. And there's a compounded annual growth of 6.4%. Out of that whole market, 28% of it signifies the United States market, which is roughly around 15 billion. By 2030, that segment is expected to hit 23.24 billion based on that growth. And this is a high overview of what are the different stages involved in the commercial manufacturing. It all starts with research and development. You have your management of raw materials, and the most value add on the whole process is the manufacturing of these commercial units. And then the way I alluded is the convention and trade shows. One of the best channels of selling these type of units is going to trade shows, convention shows, and partnering with some alliances. And I think a biggest opportunity for us is raw material. And Oscar, I'll pass that over to you, just so you could just give a little bit of insight as to how you believe we could optimize the operations based on the current state.
Yeah, sure. So like Luis mentioned, right? There are several ways to increase revenue, and definitely the operation needs to support that growth. It is a very simple operation, and the product is relatively easy to make. The bill of material is no more than 20 items, so it's fairly simple to manage. One key item that Luis mentioned before is the tenure and experience of the people that is already working there. So there's 9 guys that already have the know-how on how to do this. A very good thing is that they are already cross-trained, which is not that common to see in a mom and pop shop. So that's a very key know-how that we have to keep. And one of the main strategies is to increase to a second shift. They are only running Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So by adding a second shift, with this know-how that already is there, we can easily boost 2 times the throughput. Of course, on top of that, some lean management tools here and there, like time studies, we can easily boost 2 times more or decrease the cycle time. So you will see further down in the slides what is our projection, and I really feel confident by doing this, we can at least, with minor investment, quadruple the throughput from the floor.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Oscar. So it's kind of to like Oscar's point, it is a full cycle production, and I think this is really stands out as the type of company that the sellers have built. At the moment, since in 2024, they've received $5.5 million worth of bids that they've received this year. Since 2019, they've been growing at 13.2 year over year, and they've currently have $3 million worth of backlog orders that they're in the process of shipping out. So high production, high quality. The bids are coming into them. They're not looking out for bids. They're getting about 20 bids per week with already secured $3 million so far. Our targets, and this is a little bit of what we project on the growth. In 2023, they finished the year at 6.9 million. They're tracking to hit 8 million this year. And by 2025, we're looking at $9.2 million in revenue. Keep in mind, this is with no sales, no marketing, no partnership channels. This is just straight word of mouth. We are projecting to hit $14 million by the end of 2027. And this is a very modest 15% growth that we've calculated into the model. Historically, they've hit about 13.2 year-over-year growth. 15% is very conservative based on what this company has been seeing, and we're projecting to hit 14 million by 2027. And the investor upside, what we're looking for a 5% down payment in exchange for 10% equity. And Uncle Carl, yep, this is your model. We took this straight out of your model. We have a projected exit between 5 to 7 years. So we have it projected at year 6. With our projections, we're looking at exiting at $11 million. At that time of exit, we're looking at 2.5 million adjusted EBITDA with a 6.2 cash on cash return at the time of exit for the investors.
Good job. I love, you know what I love, right? I love it when I do some training and then literally 3 days later, you're putting together a world-class presentation and you're including all that new stuff. Like, absolute way to go. Like, this has blown me away. This has absolutely made my day that you've taken what I did on Monday and you plugged this into this project. Thank you.
Thank you. The training was clutch. We're looking at, what the investors payout is. And to be honest with you, we're looking at 178,000 investment. And at year 6, at the time we're looking at exit, the investor will get paid 1.2 million. So 6.2 rate of cash on cash return, in my opinion, I think is amazing.
World class. Amazing.
And what I'll do, I'll stop sharing and I'll pass it over to Nele, so he could share the one sheet, share the financials, and then pass it on.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, so here we have the one sheet. So we have the last 4 years of financials on this one. We're looking at adjusted EBITDA of trending over $1 million the last few years. The numbers look pretty solid, and we leveraged most of these existing figures that they have, like their cash on hand, their inventory AR percentages, as well as AP percent and other current liabilities for our cash flow statement. So that way we kind of have those assumptions that we'll be going about the same credit terms and things like that. But yeah, so currently they have 9 employees, but like we said, we do expect to start a second shift. So we'll probably be seeing an increase in employees and customers as well as we invest into these trade shows. Yeah, so with that, we built out our cash flow analysis. So this is assuming that 15% growth. We see a small uptick of about 0.5% growth or half in gross margin. And our adjusted EBITDA will also be increasing as our operating expenses as a percent of sales is expected to decrease slightly every year. So that's how we were able to figure out where we'll stand in terms of our net cash and how much dividends we'll be able to pay out, as well as calculate the investor exit based off the 3-year adjusted EBITDA average. So yeah, I mean, that's basically the model that we created to help. And like we said, these are pretty conservative. We really expect to go much higher than 15% sales growth per year, but with a conservative 15%, this is where our numbers stand.
And then the purchase price as well. I forgot to include the purchase price. The purchase price is at $3 million. We're going back and forth. It was a little tug of war. The seller has multiple offers. It is a broker deal. The broker deals are like, I've never worked so hard for this for this seller. They've had multiple offers. Legacy is key for them. Purchase prices of $3 million. They found the right party with us, and now they want to move forward with it. So I mean, great revenue, great margins, multiple revenue streams. We were able to tap into the seller. He's an advisor for our team as a general contractor, so we could double down and expand on the general contracting work.
And we're actually expecting him to leave a pretty good amount of working capital in for us in terms of accounts receivable and inventory, and because they didn't include as part of the current assets, they didn't include their work in progress as part of their calculations for what they'll be for part of our working capital negotiation. So we should be pretty solid to start.
Great. All right, guys. Well, let's do some analysis. So lots and lots of positives around this. Amazing roll-up idea. Absolutely world-class pitch. Phenomenal team. great market. And as I said, I'm so proud of you guys. You're constantly taking what I'm teaching you and you're plugging it in almost immediately. This is probably one of the best presentations I think we have ever seen on this call. So great job. Love the fact that you're forecasting investor returns. Like investors, they don't get generally this quality of pitch, right? They don't see this stuff. So literally, this would blow people's minds when you present. So great job on all that. Two little things for me on this. The only thing I don't like about this deal is that it's custom manufacture, right? It's a custom business. Like I've had issues in the past with custom type operations. I love businesses that they produce one thing and then they just churn all these things out. I think with custom, it tends to impact your margins a lot, although the margins aren't too bad, right? So that was my only kind of minor little red flag on this. I was, desperately trying to find things to balance my analysis. And then, $3 million. I think it's worth more than 2.1. I think a 3x multiple where it's done, $1 million and 1.1 over the last 2 years. I think a 3-year average, including the 527. I think I'd pay at least 2.5, maybe as high as 2.6, 2.7 for this. So I think you're in the ballpark, but on the whole, what an absolutely phenomenal deal. Let's go around the room. Let's go to Jeremy Bronson.
Yeah, I really like this deal as well. I think the $3 million purchase price based on the last 2 years is probably reasonable. And where I would say that's reasonable is I think they're leaving a lot on the table because of the custom work that they're doing. I would have expected the margins to be a lot higher. I would ask them about when's the last time they've done price increases. If they've got a huge backlog and they're turning over work, why aren't they increasing prices? Because that's the best thing you can do in a business, because it doesn't cost you anything and all that price just falls to the bottom line. So I think there's a lot of room to probably increase margins based on what they're telling you in terms of the backlog and those types of things. So I would be comfortable at probably the $3 million purchase price because of that.
Perfect. And if I could just add on the custom order. So they buy large coils of steels, and the way they build the custom orders, it's the same size of the panels. It just depends on how long you need that refrigerator. If you need 10,000 square feet, it's going to be the same bill of material. So you're not sourcing new materials or anything like that. So it's just, in essence, the way he explained it is just a Lego operations.
Very good. I really like this business, and this business isn't really going away. Distribution, you got to have, the refrigeration and stuff like that. So, the economy is not really going to impact a business like this. So yeah, I really like it.
Thank you.
And
All right.
we can service meat lockers as well.
There you go. We can service Powell cheese deal from last week. There you go. I love Protegés selling to each other. That's a great.
And cold rooms for whiskey.
There you go. Well, that would be good for me. So, alrighty, let's go around the room. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, anything to add on this?
No, I like the deal. I really like the deal. I like the growth on it. And one thing to add, I wasn't there for the training on Monday, but I love when people talk about the return in a presentation, because it means you're thinking about it. As you know, I'm a professional investor. I hate to ask the question of people of how do I make money? Because you're focused on building a business, and it just comes across kind of like all I care about is how I'm making money. But that's true for most investors. So the fact that you lay it out and understand that investors are looking for that is really fantastic. And I like the deal. I like the growth. I like the price.
Great. Thank you, Kyle. Mark Adams?
Yeah, I like the deal too. I think what's not to like? Of course, it's all very top level numbers at the moment, but for me, it stacks up at the price they're asking for just with the existing revenue. But so when you're putting in another shift and you're looking for growth rates of 15%, which I think could be modest, just based on, I don't have anything other than gut feel to base that on, but 15% seems conservative with the capacity that you could introduce. There is no reason at all not to go ahead with this and see if you can get it across the line. It's a great deal.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark.
Nice presentation, guys. Really well put together.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely agree. David Geralt?
Yeah, my favorite thing about this deal is the legal, financial, and operations advisory team that they're hiring to help them get it across the line.
Best part, David.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go.
100%.
Yeah. So,
But no, I really like this deal. I know this space from the other side. I've been in refrigerated food product distribution and built a couple of cold storage plants and things like that. So I think it's a great space. It's very niche, but to their point, yeah, it's kind of, Carl, I would call it mass customization. Really, it's not really bespoke pieces. It's taking all of the component pieces that they use and assembling the Legos to build different, Yeah, I mean, you could build the X-Wing fighter or the Excalibur castle with the Legos. It's just a matter of how you snap them together. So I think it has really, really interesting opportunity, and I think it's an interesting opportunity to expand it. We talked a little bit about maybe offshoring some of the manufacturing as well to get the costs down and to centralize. I would say if there's anything I don't love about the business, it's the West Coast location in terms of access to the market. 80% of the population of North America lives east of the Rocky Mountains. And so I think an opportunity for growth is maybe moving that manufacturing footprint where the logistics of delivering these pieces to the market is more attractive. But other than that, I love it.
okay, thank you. Jim Helms?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add, except I wanted to point out one thing on one of the early slides that he showed, where they had a recruiting program with the Second Chance program, and that's just one unique piece on attracting the labor pool. And I thought that might help a lot of other proteges as well to get creative with stuff like that. There's some pros and cons to that, but that could be a great source. And to second David's comment about relocation, labor costs would be a lot cheaper outside of California, but I love the deal, and you guys did an amazing job on the presentation, man.
Thank you.
Awesome
That's
job.
how to do it, guys. That's how to do it. So I think you're up there with Jason Bora as the king of these pitches. And it's the first pitch I've seen to forecast out. Obviously, it's the first call since Monday to forecast out revenue margins, IRR, and cash-on-cash returns. So, yeah, you've set the bar now. I want to see that on every deal, guys. If you're raising equity, you got to put that in. Kyle told you he's a professional investor. He hates asking for that, which is why we did the training. So yeah, good for that. All right, let's go to Lydia. Lydia, what are your thoughts?
First of all, great presentation. Amazing team. I actually have a lot of confidence, guys, that you can definitely take it to where you are projecting it. So I think, anybody on the investor side, I think they'll be all over it. So much opportunity for growth. And I personally think it's a great business for the price that it's going for. So it's a huge green light for me. Just kind of piggyback on what David said, in your slides, it says there's a relocation opportunity. So I'm in Texas, and it's really hot here, like for 9 months. San Francisco is not so much, right? And it's a big state, a lot of people who need jobs here. I feel like if you were to possibly replicate what's already been established, and you do have a manufacturing guru on staff, if you were to bring it down to where refrigeration needs is locally in high demand, I think you will just blow it out of water. So good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that.
And to that point, what we're looking at is They do ship refrigeration units all throughout 50 states. They service Alaska, Hawaii, New York, Florida, and they have a very large customer concentration in some of these states. And I think what we're looking at is for secondary bolt-on acquisition, identifying those markets where it makes sense to add a manufacturing or a servicing company based on existing customers. That way we're building on top of what they've built. So thank you for that.
Right. But if you also in the epicenter of high demand, you know, you can save quite a bit on the shipping cost
Agree.
and delivery time. So you'll turn around much faster.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's the bright future.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, guys. Last but not least, let's go to Ayaz Hamid. Ayaz, you got a question or a thought or a comment?
Thanks, Carl. Great deal, Louis. I just had a quick question on the supply chain. Have you had any conversations with the suppliers? Any bottlenecks that you perceive there in terms of the manufacturing process?
Yeah, good question. We did have a conversation with that, with the sellers about that. All of their product is, they have a location that, so there's the refrigeration units based on the use case. For extreme temperature, they have specialized foam, and their distributors in San Diego. For average applications, they use regular 2x4s, male and female couplings on the 2x4s, and their distributor is in Northern California. So all the materials and everything that they get, even from the metal parts, everything's locally sourced within California within a 50-mile radius, excluding the San Diego specialized foam that they create.
Perfect. All right, thank you for that. All right, guys, we are done. We've got a few minutes left though. So what I want you to do, I like to do this when we have a few minutes, is just type into the chat, what's your single biggest takeaway from today's call? What's the biggest aha moment you've got? What's the biggest thing you've learned? What's the thing that impressed you the most about this call? Just type them into the chat. I just want to make sure you're all listening. I know you are, but yeah, if you type in the single biggest thing that was your takeaway from today's call, it'll stay with you, right? So if we do that 50 times a year, all these things that you're picking up on these calls are really going to get dialed into your brain. So Stephanie Patterson, make sure to include projections. Salvador was about, you know, having a great team running these deals. Chris Clements, transformation of pitch deck with investor presentations. Same for Laura. Adam Shelton, staffing information from Jim Helms. Always add forecasting. Mark and Berger, great communication. Erin Gray about the investor calcs and the forecast. Jim Helms, sometimes Protegés implement what is taught. Yeah, Jim, good to see that. A lot of people talking about pitch decks. Andrew Fish, paying attention to sellers' motivation. Fally Wakwi, conversation regarding labour shortage services sector. Gary Lennon, having a great team, cements the confidence in sellers that legacy is safe. Ashley Pete, make sure you highlight what's in it for the investor projections. Jared Smith, plan for increasing and taking care of your talent. Ben Dubois, detailed numbers and a vision. Omar Brown, investor projections. Coaching future, 80% of the US lives east of the Rockies, Erin Gray. You're right, I didn't know that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But if you think about it, it's true, right? Loads of stuff, Judith Shue, numbers, cash flow, seller psychology, develop the team, investor returns. Pretty common things there. Yeah, the forecast makes an investor's life easier, Robert Opara. Thank you for that. You're absolutely right. And yeah, most people were 321 or 312. So that's great. I think nobody disputes deal 3 was the deal of the week. It was. Congrats, guys. Mark Adams, this community helping each other is fabulous. Thank you, Mark. So lots of great comments on there. Appreciate you guys. Well, that's it, guys. Appreciate everybody coming on the call today. So thank you very, very much to Kevin Gabriel for his medical regenerative medicine roll-up, Kurt Guttermunson, albeit it was a phenomenal deal. It was a bit overpriced in the pool space. And massive congrats to Lewis and the team for putting together such a great presentation on the commercial refrigeration space. So thank you to all you guys, and then thank you to Kyle and to Jeremy and to Mark and to Lydia and to Ayaz and to Jim Helms and David Girolt for contributing to the questions and the analysis. Really appreciate you guys. I think it, to some of the questions or comments that we've had in the chat, I think it really dials in the power and the value of this community, that we can all come together every week and really help each other on these deals. So thanks to everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I think I'm doing foundation call tomorrow. Chris was supposed to do it last week, but he got tied up. So appreciate Jim and David Girolt and Jeshua taking the lead last week, but I think I'm back on tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. Have a great rest of your Thursday, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, bye for now.